Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier was one of my favorite fights of the year. It was actually a lot more competitive than I expected. I thought Islam was going to finish him in the first 3 rounds and ended up going to a 5th round in a Darce choke, of all things. I did not expect that. Sorry I don't have a recap for you guys, but I have been pretty swamped with a lot of other things. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about, was just the direction that I'm going with everything. And there are several topics that I want to discuss today. I want to talk about the 155 title picture, what's next for Islam, is he going to move up to 170, all that kind of stuff. And then I also want to talk about the Conor McGregor situation. I want to talk about just a few different things, but also wanted to kind of update you guys on everything that I'm doing. So some of you here, you might know me for my predictions and recaps and all that kind of stuff, which I obviously am still going to be doing. I usually do predictions for every pay-per-view. I can't promise that I'm going to do them for every single fight night, but I do them for every single pay-per-view. And I'm going to be probably doing more predictions than before. But also, when I started doing all of this, I actually didn't start with MMA. So I started with talking about just, life, fitness, health. MMA was part of that, talking about just whatever. And that was my first podcast, which I started way before I started the MMA one. Well, not way before, but I think I started it like 5 months before I started the MMA podcast. And then I started doing more MMA content. I was already talking about MMA on my podcast before, but then I kind of transitioned and created its own thing, which has been really cool. But what I want to do is get back to what my vision was when I started. I've focused pretty much completely on MMA for a whole year, and I've gotten a lot of great results. I've made a lot of great connections, and I'm still going to keep doing all of this. I'm not saying I'm going away from it, but I am going to be expanding on that. And I don't know if you guys have seen some of my content on my Instagram, but that's where you're going to see like a collective of all my content and what I'm doing. So I do my podcast, which is where, I interview fighters and interview, whatever topics are relevant. Not just fighters, but I've also had other, professions on. I've had media people on, which I really enjoy doing that too. But yeah, I want to get back to what my original vision was. My vision is not to be Ariel Helwani. My vision is not to be Laura Sanko, even though I love Laura Sanko and, I admire a lot about her. My vision is not to be, Nina Drama. My vision is to be BreBre. That's my vision. And if I could come up with something that is comparable, I guess, to what I'm going for with what I want to do in my vision, it's similar to what Joe Rogan has done. And Joe Rogan, he doesn't just talk about MMA. He talks about all kinds of different things. He talks about philosophy. He talks about politics. He talks about animals. He talks about gorillas and shit. Like half of his podcast is just random stuff. But he also does commentary, and he also has a huge role in the combat sports community. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to do something similar to that, and that's what I have been doing. But I feel like people almost kind of forced me to stay just in MMA just because of time, just because I didn't have time to really focus on anything else, because I was so just completely consumed with, the predictions and the stats and all this stuff, which is great. I love it. And I love doing that. I'm never going to stop doing any of that because I truly love it. I love reading statistics. I love doing film study. I love doing all of that stuff and fight breakdowns. Like, I love it. But I think that I can have a much bigger impact on MMA in the community, in the fan base, by also including other types of content. So pretty soon I'm going to be releasing, we don't have an official release date yet, but I am going to be releasing a conversation that I had with Hector Lombard and Bryce Mitchell. They discussed various topics, including philosophy, religion, flat earth, all kinds of different things. It will be released on Millions, and like I said, I don't have a release date yet, but it's a very, very interesting conversation that I had. And those are the types of things that I really want to start doing more, which can absolutely include figures in combat sports. I think it's really cool to hear their opinions on things besides just fighting. And you know, I think that there are people out there that are trying to do that. And like, if you notice my interviews, like I'm focusing on them, you know, I'm focusing on learning about them and talking to them about, you know, real topics, not just like, what's your favorite color? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's a place for that for sure. And I respect it. But at the end of the day, that is not what I'm trying to do. So don't get it twisted. Anyways, what is going on with Conor McGregor? Where is he? Let's check Twitter. Or X, whatever it's freaking called. Stupid. Let's see. Conor McGregor. Oh, he posted some recent training footage. That's interesting. So I wonder, is he trying to show that he's not injured, or is he trying to show that he's injured but he can still compete? Or that he's being, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. Really trying to figure this out. And Dana hasn't really said anything about it. Let's look at Dana's Twitter. Yeah, he's just been posting stuff on the Louisville card. So what is going on? What's the deal with Conor? Why has nobody said anything? I mean, here's my thing. Conor McGregor doesn't pull out of fights. I'm well aware of that. But this fight has been rebooked so many times. That's the problem. That's why everybody's worried about it. If they wouldn't have rebooked it so many times, I mean, we're talking about The Ultimate Fighter was when this started. That was over a year ago. It's been over a year since they've been focusing on this fight. So, I mean, at this point, it seems like, you know, for Chandler, yeah, I guess it could be cool for him to, like, take another opponent. But who is he going to fight that would be anywhere near as big as this? And he's put so much energy into promoting this fight that it's like now it's like he needs this to happen. Although, you know what I will say about this fight? It feels kind of forced at this point. It feels a little forced. It doesn't feel like Conor really has any desire to fight Michael Chandler. I think he wants to fight. I just don't think it's necessarily Chandler that he's like, you know, excited about. And I hope we see Conor fight because I really want to see like Conor's return after the injury. And I actually do like his chances against Chandler, but this whole thing is just a circus. It's an absolute circus. They canceled the press conference. They canceled all of Conor's media. There was a rumor going around that he was injured, and apparently, I guess he is, but nobody's disclosed anything about the injury. I don't know. And then, yeah, it's just weird. Like, but then he's posting his sparring footage. So to me, him posting that is him showing like, hey, I'm injured, but I can still train. That's my interpretation of that, is what he's doing there. He's trying to make people think that, you know, he's still taking this 100% serious. And I'm sure he is. I have no doubt about that. I think that it could potentially be something else, though. It could be, some other kind of health issue. It could be, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It could be a business thing. There could be negotiation issues that, this is how they're covering it up. I don't know. But the whole situation is very weird. And I know it's a Conor fight, so you kind of expect stuff like this to happen. But at this point, it's just, either do the fight or don't do it. Like, if they rebook it one more time, I'm not watching it. I will purposely not watch the fight. I will not buy the pay-per-view. I will not, no. Because this is just annoying. So hopefully it happens. But I have a couple theories. One theory I have, this is a very wild conspiracy theory, so go ahead and put on your tinfoil hat. But I think that they potentially might end up doing this matchup in WWE instead of UFC. I know it sounds a little crazy, but remember, Michael Chandler called McGregor out at WWE. He did the whole thing with them. And Chandler would be perfect for WWE, honestly. I think he would be great. And Conor would too. But I actually do think that's a strong possibility, because think about the merger. Think about they're bringing over some UFC guys to WWE. I would not be surprised if this fight falls through, if it doesn't happen in MMA. I wouldn't be surprised if they just do it in WWE and do it like a fake fight, If Conor's really, has something going on. I don't know. Like, if they can't make this fight happen. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think that might be a possibility. I don't know. And you could still get injured in WWE, but not like in MMA. It's not the same thing. It's not as risky as MMA, in my opinion. At least not for one match. The people that do it for years and years, their bodies are completely broken down. But anyways, moving on to Islam Makhachev. So what is next for Islam? He said he wants to move up to try to get a second belt. You can check a video I posted a couple months ago where I predicted that he would do that, and that Arman would get robbed of his title shot and rematch with Islam. I do think that Arman deserves the shot 100%. I can't think of anybody else even close besides Max Holloway that deserves it. So, but I still think that Arman deserves it first just because of what he's done in the division. So I think that, honestly, what I would like to see is Arman versus Islam in the fall. I was thinking also, if he does move up to 170, let's see, when is the 170 title fight? That is July 27th. Okay. So July 27th, Edwards versus Bilal. Okay. So after that, then that would be Islam's chance to, I guess, try to get the winner of that in a welterweight title shot. My question is, would Islam have to, well, what I think Islam would do is I think Islam would try to hold on to the 155 title while moving up to 170. So then what do you do at 155? Do you do an interim title between Arman and Holloway? Or what do you do if he moves up? Because this is a real possibility that Islam wants to move up. And I mean, I'm not completely mad about it. It's just kind of frustrating because Arman deserves the title shot. And here's my issue with how they offered it to him the first time. Because that now they're trying to make it look like Arman turned it down. He didn't turn it down. He did not turn down the title shot. Arman turned down a title fight without a full camp. That is what he did, because they gave him the June 1st date. He said no because he wouldn't have a full camp. Totally respectable, totally understandable. Nobody should be fighting Islam Makhachev not on a full camp. That's just stupid. You're not going to win. I mean, you might, but probably not. I mean, it's just, yeah. Like, why does everybody have to fight Islam on short notice? That's what I don't understand. And I like Islam. I'm a big fan. But I don't like the way they handled that at all. And then they gave the shot to Dustin, who just beat another number 12 guy. And I love Dustin. And I'm so glad he got the title shot. I really am. Because that was a great last fight for him, I think. I think it was a beautiful last fight, if he chooses to retire. But it's just the way they did that. I just don't like it. Because now they're trying to act like Arman turned it down. He didn't turn it down. He turned it down without a full camp. Again, like I said. So I think Islam should fight Arman. I think that is the fight to make. I don't think there's any fight that makes more sense than that. So what I think is he should defend the title one more time against Arman. He has a perfectly game contender. Like, Arman is ready. They should do it in the fall. And then I think that after that, he should move up to 170. Because let's see what happens between Bilal and Leon. Because let's be honest, if Leon beats Bilal, you know, Islam versus Leon, I don't know. I don't know about that. That is interesting. It's going to depend on how the fight plays out. Like how, I don't know. Because Bilal, I mean, yeah, I get everybody thinks he's boring, but he is a good fighter. You can't deny that. Bilal is a very talented fighter and is fully capable of winning this fight. Do I think he's going to win? No. I think Edwards is going to win. But Edwards is not unbeatable. So, yeah. And now let's look at the welterweight rankings. Who are some other guys that could end up kind of climbing their way up there? We got Shavkat. Colby, I hope never gets a title shot again, honestly, because that was just disrespectful. We got JDM, who I believe is injured right now. Burns, I don't see him fighting for a title again. Ian Gary, I don't know. I'm impressed with Ian Gary. I think he's very talented, but I just don't see a champion in there. At least not yet. Maybe he just needs to evolve. But based on his last couple of performances, no. Actually, I honestly have more faith in Joaquin Buckley than I do in Ian Gary at this point. I think he's put on more impressive performances. He's done a way better job promoting himself. And, you know, and maybe I'm biased because I'm from St. Louis, but like, he's out there doing it, you know? He's doing it. He's putting himself in places to get opportunities, and he's putting himself out there where a lot of people are afraid to. So I respect it. And I think he's probably going to get a title shot before Ian Gary just because of that. Or who knows, maybe he'll end up fighting Ian Gary. I don't know. But I would like to see Buckley fight. I don't know. I guess what happened to the fight with Burns? Is that not going to happen? I know he called out like the entire welterweight division, so I don't know who could he fight? Could he fight Shavkat? Could he fight Colby? Could he fight Ian Gary? I don't know. I mean, Ian Gary's fighting MVP on the Conor card, so that'll be interesting. Maybe he fights the winner of that. I like that. Give Buckley the winner of Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page. If Ian Gary wins, then him versus Buckley would be really interesting, I think. So this weekend, we've got Cannonier versus Imavov. I think Cannonier is going to win this fight. I think he has a more impressive resume. I think he's fought tougher competition. I think that he has more power. I think that he has good grappling, too. So, I don't know. I mean, Nasruddin, he is very talented. He's very good. I just think that skill-wise and experience-wise, Cannonier has the advantage. The only thing that concerns me was just the first round of his fight with Vettori. He got hit a lot with some really big punches, some hooks. So I don't know. That kind of worries me, but it seemed like his chin held up. So I don't know. Maybe I don't need to be worried about it. I really want to know what's going on with this Conor McGregor situation. I don't think my WWE theory is really as crazy as people are going to think. I don't know. It's like a weird theory, but I don't know. I think, though, if that fight does end up getting scrapped, if the fight doesn't happen, then I think a good main event replacement would be Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska, the rematch. Why would they not just do that now? This fight is clearly in jeopardy. It's been rebooked multiple times. It was a cool idea with The Ultimate Fighter because The Ultimate Fighter, you don't have to promote the fight. The Ultimate Fighter is the promotion. So the hype was already there. But it's been a year since then. So where's the hype? And they didn't do the press conference. Huge mistake, in my opinion. Huge mistake. Canceling all media for this fight. Where's the hype? Where's the buildup? There's nothing. It's so stupid. This is a circus. If this fight is going to happen, promote it. Otherwise, we don't believe in it. You know? I didn't believe in this fight when it was first announced because the promotion was atrocious. The fake shove on The Ultimate Fighter, oh my God. This just needs to happen in WWE. It's the perfect fight for WWE. Chandler already called him out in WWE. Let's just do it in WWE. We won't have to worry about Conor being injured. We won't have to worry about any of this stuff. We don't have to do the media. We don't have to do the press conference. Just do it in WWE because that's where this fight belongs. This is a circus. Do it in WWE and let's get Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska as the main event. Please save us, MMA gods. Let's look at the rest of the card, though. Let's take a look at the rest of the card, and then I'm going to go because I'm getting mad. I'm just getting more angry the more that I talk about this. Because it's so frustrating. So we got Carlos Ulberg versus Jamal Hill as the co-main event. That's beautiful. Great co-main event. I think Carlos Ulberg is going to win that one. Then we got Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chasson. That's a good fight. I actually like Macy's chances in this one, even though Mayra is probably, she's minus 218 favorite. Yeah, I don't know. I think Macy, she's really rangy. She's got good striking. She's tough. I like her chances in that one. Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Joe Pyfer, I think he wins that one. I think he's a better fighter. Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. I think Michael Venom Page wins that one. Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. That's a banger. The fans win that fight. I don't even care who wins. That's gonna be fight of the night for sure. Charles Jourdain versus John Silva. Interesting. Peyton Talbot's on this card. Jillian Robertson versus the Karate Hottie. Let's go. I'm taking Jillian by submission on that one all day. Andrei Arlovsky versus Martin Buday. This is actually a pretty good card overall. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near some of the pay-per-views we've had this year, but it's pretty good. There's some good fights on here. Whitaker versus Chimaev. That's coming up soon, Saturday, June 22nd. And that's not even a pay-per-view. What's the next pay? Oh, the next pay-per-view is 303. Duh. And then 170 title fight is UFC 304. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about all this. This Whitaker versus Chimaev card is actually pretty good card for a fight night. For a fight night, this is a sweet card. But anyways, enough about all this. I just wanted to get on here and talk about some things that were pressing. But, I don't know. I don't know what to think about all this stuff anymore. But yeah, I'll let you guys know once my podcast with Hector Lombard and Bryce Mitchell is up. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. And yeah, it was just a really interesting conversation. It's two people that don't agree on everything, but they realized that they have more in common than they thought by the time we were done with the conversation. So it was really cool to be a part of that. And I'm really excited to be doing more stuff like that. And I'm excited to just expand my horizons beyond just talking MMA. I want to talk about all kinds of different things, but I want to include MMA in it, of course, and I want to tie it all together. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So if you guys have any suggestions for interviews or guests or things like that, let me know. I'll try to, get some more really cool interviews. I just did an interview with Josh Augustine. I had Ray Hayes on, Clayton Berry, some really good fighters out of St. Louis. So check those out on my other channel. If you just search Brianna Eckert, my full name, or the Brilliant Resilient Experience podcast, then you'll find it. That's where you'll find my interviews, which are long form interviews. And then I also do, sometimes I'll do short interviews depending on the assignment. But I just wanted to get on here real quick and update you guys and talk about this stuff. But I'm going to look at the next fight night. Let's see. Perez versus Tyra is the next one. Oh, that's interesting. But I will do a recap of Cannonier versus Imavov. I didn't have time to do predictions because I have way too much going on right now. But I will do a recap and breakdown. So, yeah. I will see you guys next week.